off. All right, so the call is now recording. We have Ronnie coming in, who will walk us through the context of these calls and really what you all should be preparing for now, from now itself, as we go on into the months coming on. So on that note, over to Ronnie.
Good morning, guys. I hope we're all doing well. Morning, Jamin, Rajanina, Yvonne. How are you?
Morning.
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Very good, thank you. I'm going to see if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Awesome. So we're going to have these monthly calls between now and then because we really want everyone to stay in connection, to get to know each other. Hey, I can see Rajanina. How are you doing? So just so that you get to really know each other, you get to also connect with the other groups globally. I know a number of people have signed up and I haven't got to meet all of you in person. So this is an opportunity for you guys to really be at home, because whether you like it or not, at the base of the mountain, we're going to do some phenomenal team building exercises to really get to know each other deeper. And on the mountain's going to have our highest celebratory moments possibly in our life. And it's also going to have some of our most vulnerable moments possibly in our life, right? So there will be moments where we will be feeling, I really need to share or reach out to support or get support or help from somebody else. Morning, B. Who's B who's joined?
Hi, that's Bina.
Hey, Bina, morning. All right, so we've just started explaining the context of these calls. So we're going to really just have to get to know each other and really better understand, who else is there. And I want to get everyone to get this from the onset. There are times people sign up to something like this, and there are often times people want to kind of know, well, who else is doing it? And we have questions like, what's the average age of the people that are doing it? What do they do? Where they're from? We often want to do things inside of our comfort zone, and that often includes going to places we're comfortable with, doing activities we're comfortable with, or habits we're comfortable with, and also sticking around people that we're familiar with. On this mountain, everything from your title, your wealth, your qualifications, your experience, where you've come from, all those details, they just get left at base. And what goes up the mountain are human beings, regardless of your age, your gender, your background, your upbringing. It's all irrelevant. On that mountain, everyone is just human beings for each other. And this is what we're going to really get connected to our humanity, our strongest moments, and our most vulnerable. What's also good is to just keep updating people on how we're doing in terms of action. Now, I will tell you this, we've had people sign up to Kilimanjaro even the week before, 4 days before. And it's not a mountain, however, for us to wing it. So if you are in conversations, by the way, with any friends or family about, hey, I'm doing Kilimanjaro, and I know there's a group of you, our big family, that are coming. Sometimes with family, I'm going to have to really be intentional around this, is that it can get quite kind of emotive for other members to say, you guys all going? I'm going too, right? That's a very easy thing for people to get caught in that trap. And they could jump in from an emotive purpose because ideologically it will sound great and it will be an awesome idea to do it all together as family, which is true 100%. But then to leap in at the 11th hour is something which might set it back, not only for that person, but then where you have like family members that are all close, it will go into your head when you have to see your cousin or your uncle or somebody having to turn back and go down. Whenever anyone turns back or goes down, they're fully taken care of. Even if it's a husband and wife, and if your wife has to go down alone and she's with a team member, be assured everything is safe. We have a team on the ground. They pick her up, take her to the hotel. All is safe within Kilimanjaro. So it's a very, very perfectly set up environment. You don't have to worry about people if at all we have to send somebody down. However, what I'm committed to is that we all go, and throughout this process, we're going to keep training you on, before you turn back, have you given your best? That's what we're always going to ask you. As we go through, I'm going to talk to you in the next session. We're going to talk about our concerns. So if you haven't done your intro video, those of you that have done your intro video, thank you so much for doing it. In your intro video, guys, I want you to bring some energy to it if you haven't already done it, and just say, hey, I'm this, and your why that you're doing this, concern that you have, something you're looking forward to, right? Share that. And there's a reason I need you to do that with energies. I want to take those little clips, and we're just going to cut out little 1 words or 2 words from them to make a little roll of video which says who's doing Kili this year, right? And we start using it to promote and share and advertise. You want to flag your concerns as they come up. So any subconscious or latent fears that you have, they will come from your relationship to a mountain. So for those of you on the call, can you flag some of the concerns that you have?
Spiders.
Spiders, okay. Anyone else?
The altitude, just obviously how are you going to cope with the altitude?
Okay, altitude, spiders, what else? Give me one more, guys. Or let's go around through each of us since there's a few of us. Rajan?
Oh, definitely showers.
Definitely showers. What? To have a shower or to not have showers?
To have a shower, to make sure that, I think it was one of the other ladies who expressed a concern of, with personal hygiene. For somebody who loves to have a shower every day, that's one of my biggest concerns.
All right, got it. Rajan?
Yeah, the altitude, being able to kind of get enough oxygen into the body.
Yeah. All right, got it. Jamin?
I guess if I'm tired, I can get quite irritated, so I don't want to say things that I don't mean.
Okay, got it. Awesome. It's called hypoxia. It happens at a particular altitude in the mountain. We do get to a point whereby our body and our mind deceive us, and they think, okay, I'm spent and I can't tolerate anymore, and it's very easy to sort of snap or say things or react. But by us distinguishing it and us knowing and being aware of that, if people are that way, we'll do some exercises at base to manage that and control and not take stuff personal. It really doesn't matter, because I got totally bollocked up at summit and at the base by hugging each other. So you've just got to be, for lack of a better word, thick-skinned, but you just got to get the humanity of another being. They're going through something at a state, at an altitude. And majority of us are great, right? So just, 1 or 2 people will get really, really short, and you just got to be with that. Okay, so Jimin, can I just check? Are you with Sneh or are you alone?
No, I'm by myself.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right, so they'll have to catch up on recording. So what else are we going to look at over these webinars? We're going to look at what you need to do in terms of prep for your body. What do you need in terms of body, getting yourself into shape? What will you need in terms of nutrition between now and the climb? What will we be needing on treks that we go on practice and during the climb? And what other prep do we need to do? Things like travel and other prep. So I'm going to come on to that in the next slide. Second is mental prep. So we are doing walks for a reason. Now, if any of you guys are joining in or listening in from a different country, if you have not yet been out for a 10K walk, if you have not yet been out for a 15-kilometer walk, you must then go out for those. Try to go for 15 or 20 kilometers walks once a month at least between now and summit. And we are not preparing for a marathon, right? So preparing for a marathon is a very different approach. Preparing for a marathon, you have to learn how to run 40 kilometers. So people practice running 10K, then 15, then they do 20Ks, then they go for a 25, then one day they'll do a 30K run. And then they will try and do a mock 40, right? That's different to this one. But what marathon runners do that we do is they also visualize what it's like to go and run a full 40K, right? They have to visualize what that is, the 26.2 miles. And equally, we have to visualize what each day on the mountain looks like. So from time to time, we will share some photos, or if people share videos on the chat, and if you see a nice video around Kilimanjaro, and for those of you on the call, if you're sharing it, say this week, and you saw a nice video, you want to share it on the chat, share it on the chat and tell people to say, check out this video on Kilimanjaro, because as they watch that, we're starting to get visually accustomed to what we're going to anticipate along the way. Part of us going through a 10-kilometer walk, we have another lady that's looking to come with a 7-year-old son and 11-year-old daughter, and she's still working out dates and logistics. But if she did, we need to make sure that the kids have also visually traveled through what it takes to walk for 10 kilometers, or for 5 hours, or for 8 hours, right? On some days we will walk that much. The average is between 3 and 5 hours for most of the days, and only on the summit day we do a really long stint through the night and come down for lunch and then rest and then carry on further down. So you want to just get an understanding of other people that are coming from, other climates they're coming from, other terrains that they're coming from, some things that they have that we don't, some things that they don't have that we do. And that might be things like access to gear, things like, just questions that in their region they're not familiar to. They may not go on a lot of treks or high altitude or skiing or whatever it is that you may have. And so learn to share experiences from what you've learned. Learn to be more a sharer of what you experience. So on the last trek, we had only Bina and Jamin. Bina and Jamin, was there anything that you can say you learned either by way of a setback or a challenge on the last trek on Saturday that you could share with other people on this? Oh, and Yvonne is always there.
Oh, I was going to say I was there.
Yeah. Anything you guys would like to share? Something you learned, like maybe got listed inappropriate footwear?
For me, the stretching that's required throughout the trek, not just at the beginning and at the end.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, when you sit down for lunch or you have a little bit of a break, you really feel it on your legs.
Yeah, you really lock up if you don't put in a little stretch for your coffee breaks. All right, awesome. Jamie and Yvonne, anything from you guys?
No, I thought more about it was obviously because I guess everybody was helping each other as well. Because I mean, I know there was one point where we were climbing up was it like a little bit of a mountain, and then just sort of like everybody being there for each other and helping each other up. So I liked that aspect of it as well. So I'm sure we'll have quite a few situations when we're in Kilimanjaro, obviously where we'll obviously need to help each other.
Yeah,
so that was a good example there.
Awesome. Yep, that's what's going to happen. We're definitely going to need each other. It's going to be good fun. Kilimanjaro is going to be light fun, I'll tell you that. And so whenever we share on these calls and whenever we go actually on our treks, I'm telling you now, we will have to make these treks a bit harder, and we may share things on these calls that sound like you're in for something really intense, because we would rather be mentally over-prepared than under-prepared. And then on the mountain, people are surprised sometimes where things go really easy. But it's not a mountain to take lightly, and there are going to be elements outside our control. So we're also going to learn some Kiswahili. So there's a beautiful song that we get to sing along the way to keep our energy up and to keep encouraging each other and keep the mood up. And I should have had that song ready to play, but it's called Jambo, Jambo Bwana. So if you guys haven't heard it, they sing it across Kenya, Tanzania, and then they just change the location, which is, in this case, we'll be saying Kilimanjaro. So I'm going to share that song and the lyrics of it, and we had people who had never heard the song go from 0 to, by day 6, Simran, till today, she's singing that song. Because her goal was to learn it on the mountain. So you can easily learn the song. It's just about 7 or 8 lines for us to learn. Okay. What else? Yeah, that's the mountain games and songs that we're going to prepare. Perfect. Let's go. All right. So now what do we need to look at and know of in terms of getting ourselves ready or primed for what we're about to do? Between now and the mountain, right, we're going to want to make sure that we are in a physical and mental and emotional peak state. That said, on the next webinar, I'm going to remind you guys of this point. Whatever our concerns are, subconscious, whether it's spiders, whether it's an ache in the knee, whether it's altitude, whether it's anxiety attacks, I want to tell you this. Those things from our subconscious are going to come up. They're going to show up between now and the mountain time. We had 3 people have knee operations. We had 3 people pull out last time after being in. 2 of them ended up having knee surgeries because they had this wonky pain. And when they went in for knee surgery, one of them actually said, well, while we were actually wanting to look at this pain, they also had a shoulder surgery. And our subconscious fears will bring stuff to the forefront, right? Which is, I'm concerned about this. And we're going to look at that in the next calls, how what we have underneath, under our underlying fears, will begin to show up. And when they show up, I want you to consider that that's normal. That's your body saying, look, we are getting you into states. Right now, as your mind is receiving the messages from me, you have this part of your brain called your amygdala. And that amygdala is hearing these stories and making interpretations. And it's creating a perceived threat. It's creating a perception that what I'm about to go for or what I'm about to do is a bit of a challenge. So it's getting into like a fear mode, a fight or flight mode. But I want to tell you that you just have to be calm about it, because it isn't that much of a fight or flight mode. And our bodies and our mind will be conditioned to handle with whatever comes. We had a person the day before flying out from Zambia calls me. He says, I don't know why, I'm not feeling it. I've just got this migraine and I'm feeling short of breath, and I'm thinking flu is coming up. I won't be able to come home. And he's busy running this business there, and he's at a warehouse and stuff. And I just told him, I said, look, it's 3 p.m. now. Shut that place at 4 p.m. Go home. Send the workers home, right? And just do it that way. Go and rest. You got a flight tomorrow. You shouldn't be doing this the day before. But he was bringing that all up on him, and he almost canceled. And then when it came to Summit, he's the guy that didn't sweat, didn't complain a single day, and was saying all along, that was easy. I don't know what the big deal is about it, right? And so he all felt like, oh, I did it on my own type of thing. But and each of us per se do it on our own, but there's a real community input and support that has us get there to the top. So walking, what I'm going to say, guys, get into the habit of walking every day about 30 to 40 minutes and up to an hour, right? And if you can do 5 kilometers a day, that's great. But minimum, nobody should be doing less than 3 kilometers. You just want your body doing that daily. Then once a week, go for a bit of a stretch. Go and do a 10-kilometer once a week. Some weeks you might miss it. If you get 2 10 kilometers a month, or if you get 3 10 kilometers a month, that's still okay, right? Especially from now, that's okay. As we get closer to the last 2 months, that's when we're going to make sure that everybody gets in shape. I want to tell you guys that we've all signed up and we're putting in ample prep for it. Anyone that signs up later, you can still sign up to 2 months prior. And majority of people can go from 2 months prior with zero confidence or capacity to do it, and haven't done treks to go from 2 months prior to summiting. Like I said, we've had people sign up the week prior, but that's not ideal. And some of them did have repercussions of the lack of prep. So 15 kilometers once a month. That's why in the UK we've prepared these monthly treks. And we're going to have another one that we're confirming for 21st, 22nd April weekend. It might be either local here in Chiswick, or we might be going down to a place called Leamington and go through Leamington Forest. So those of you internationally, Zambia and the US, please guys, you want to make sure you are on treks. Share with us updates and videos of when you're out on your trek. We do want to see what you're up to. Fourth one is having water. We need to hydrate a certain amount a day. So you want to move with a certain bottle of a certain size. So this bottle is what, 650 milliliters. For me to get in 3 liters of water a day, I want to be having about 4.5 or 5 of these in a day, right? So you really want to get into that habit. Right now, I'm actually doing a water diet, which is quite interesting. So it's just something I'm experimenting on. But it's literally water the whole day, just water. I am having a bit of a black coffee or some electrolytes at some point, but no food. And I'm not saying to do that. What I want you guys to get into the habit is the actual habit of moving with a bottle and starting to just drink occasionally. It might make you go and pee a lot more frequently. And if you have a lot of caffeine, it will definitely make you pee a lot more frequently. but get into the actual act of what it takes or looks like to consume 3 liters of water a day. In the US, they have these big gallon cans that people move with. If you have the equivalent, you can do that and drink those. So we're going to also minimize our alcohol between now and then, but you can have alcohol. You definitely can from now. You can have on and off. But just remember this, alcohol contributes to the acidity in your body, and it over time, it starts to impact things like your immune system and will weaken your strength. From 2 weeks before going out, so 15th November, we're going to have 0 alcohol. And the reason is that we want our bodies to start getting to a certain water level, right? We're all made up of 65% water, 65 to 70% water. But many of us, when I check on a scale and participants that we coach on in the area of health, tend to have a water or hydration level around about 50 or 55, which is generally the average, but people are depleting their cells. Each of their cells needs to be nourished with certain nutrition as well as a certain amount of water. So we're going to have more water, 3 liters of water daily, and that's going to be up on the mountain. Some days we'll consume 4 liters of water, but you want to get into the actual act because it becomes uncomfortable, or we're not used to actually taking a bottle to our mouth and sipping multiple times a day. So depending on how you do it, you want to get into some habit and move with this bottle that you can prepare with. Mental prep, like I say, share videos. We will share more. What are we going to have on the mountain? We're going to have real food. And what I mean by real food is we're not going to have processed junk. We're going to come down to basics on the mountain because that's what will serve you well. We will have things like sweet potato. We will have things like, we may have popcorn on certain nights. We will have nuts. We'll have loads of nuts as well. We'll have avocado, good fats. We're going to have nut butters. So if that's going to be on the mountain, you can also start having those now. Not popcorn. No, don't have to have popcorn now, but those we will have on the mountain. But we're going to have protein oats. If you want to buy some, order some, get used to them. Get familiar with the taste. There's a good brand I recommend is a brand called Bulk Powders, and they do a butterscotch flavor. I love that flavor. They also have another one, which is a chocolate and raspberry one. I always hate describing food when I'm doing this water fast. But yeah, it's you want to get used to having real food. And what I mean is we're not going to have processed drinks or per se sodas. We're not going to have chocolates and sweets like that. They do many treks, and many people on treks give you a lot of those. What we want to have is readily stable and sustainable energy, right? So stuff that's slower breaking down and giving us a consistent supply of energy. And between now and the challenge, you want to get used to that. So you start cutting down things like sugary carbs. When you're going on treks, and if you're just taking a lot of sugar or energy drinks that are high in sugar, you will be getting tired faster because you will be cheating or short-circuiting where you're getting your energy from short bursts of energy. And at the end of the day, you feel really fatigued because after every energy spike, there's a crash. And when you feel fatigued or you have 7-8 crashes through a walk, at the end of the day, you actually feel more tired than you really did. But that's just because mentally you've experienced a number of those crashes. Okay, so we want to minimize that, and we want to, I say control caffeine. That's probably one of my weaknesses. I do have quite a lot of caffeine in the day, but when we're having a lot of caffeine on the mountain, it becomes a diuretic, which means it has us pee quite often. And as a result, we dehydrate. So, up to, 2 or 3 servings of coffee a day, or the equivalent of 3 espressos a day, that would kind of be where you want to end it. That's the max you want to have. For some of us, you don't even need that much. I think 1 a day does it for many of you. If that's the case, that's fine. Okay, so 2 other key things that you need to start working on now is vaccinations. Those are optional. Some people want to do this, some people may not want to do this. So you want to really look at vaccinations. I think a good time for you to get them done is in November. So have a look at October and November is a good time, right? So for us going on 29th November, you want to get those vaccines in before sort of second week of October or beginning of November. Some people are not for vaccines. They're also anti-malarial, and those might be tablet taken. So you have to start them a number of days or a couple of weeks before. So take note of that on your kind of to-do list. I invite you all to create a Kili to-do list in addition to your shopping list of gear. Then there's travel insurance, and then there's medical insurance. Travel insurance, what tends to happen is we go out there, and Kenya Airways, or sometimes some of the airlines, your baggage doesn't arrive at the airport. It's also why we've kept an extra night a day. So people on the ground, they're used to this sometimes happen, and then they have to rush the following day, get your luggage, and they will come up to our first day's campsite with your luggage, if at all that happens. People have to do that if they don't spend an extra night. So we're getting on the 29th. We're spending the full day 30th there on the base. And then on the 1st, we're going to start our climb. So the only way that we're going to, and that's in case any baggage doesn't come through. But if, say, your baggage didn't come through and last minute you need to buy stuff there, the thing I say you must travel with are your hiking boots. Those are like gold for you, because it's hard to get used to a new pair of hiking boots, or sometimes you won't find your size or quality ones a day before in Moshi, right? Therefore, you need to make sure those we carry in our hand luggage, but most of the other stuff we can buy at the last minute on the ground there. And there, don't picture that there are shops like Ice and Snow and Rock or Mountain Warehouse. There aren't, right? So you end up going to buy from what's called a porter's village. A lot of people that do the climb leave their old gear there, and then porters buy this gear or get given it for free. And they have a sell and exchange kind of hub inside a market, and that's where we will end up buying. We may buy and use somebody else's secondhand or hire some, which is normal and fine for us. But ideally, we haven't lost that. But in case, any expenses you make will be covered by travel insurance if you have that. Medical insurance is if something happens to you on the mountain and specifically you need to be evacuated. If you need to be brought down the mountain and taken to a clinic, I sent you guys an article that they're setting up the first high altitude clinic on Mount Kilimanjaro at the base. But if you need to be taken somewhere, then or evacuated, say to South Africa, is where there's really good care, or whether you need to be evacuated to the UK, then you want medical insurance for that. And what you need to specify for the medical insurance, or check with your bank, your bank might have insurance that's already covering you, or check with your current medical insurance provider, is does it cover high altitude of 5,895 meters, right? Or 19,400 feet. It's 19,340. So under 20,000 feet, and most insurance do cover this. You just need to double check that, and you need to check that there is the evacuation is provided. Okay. Now, one more reason why we're doing this, guys, is we always have to remember what's getting us to the top. So we're fundraising effectively for two charities. One is Able Child Africa. The other one will confirm the name of the school. I think it's called Gurana School, but it's a deaf and dumb school that we're going to be working with. We need to just confirm with people on the ground, and then that time of year they will be there for us to go and see and visit. And we're also going to be doing a tree conservation planting project. So for that, I'm going to invite you guys all to start looking at a number of platforms to set up your fundraising pages. So again, we will cover a bit of this in the next session. But between now and next month, some of us can go ahead and start setting up our fundraising pages. You can use Just Giving, you can use BT Money, you can use Virgin Money Giving. And what you want to do is set these up, and I'll share or point out to you, you got to look for Able Child Africa. I think for them, the best platform that works is BT. Is it called BT Money or BT Giving? I think it's BT Money. So have a look at that. We will also send you some links as we get these set up, and how to go about setting these up for yourselves, and then announcing and sharing with people that you're doing this for this particular cause. Okay. Any questions so far before we wrap up? No questions? All right.
None from me.
Yeah, Yvonne? Sorry, you
None,
think?
none from me.
Okay. All right, got it. Okay. Thanks, guys. So just to wrap up, as a quick reminder around visualization, look at the photos, but there's this beautiful quote that I want you to think. Summit. This is a group of 20 people that made it to Summit. So Rajan, was there a question?
No.
Okay. So this is summit, guys. I want you to picture your faces and your bodies standing there with energy. It really matters that you begin to visualize what it looks like for you to be there. I also want you to look at some of the people that did it. You can see the people that did it in the front. There's this really fat guy with the Manchester United shirt, right? 100 kilos. He was able to do it, right? All of you guys can do this. I'm 100% certain. You need to visually travel there and journey there, right? The back there's he was our youngest. He was an 18-year-old guy in that group. After we came down, we shared with another group. We connected them to our provider. They took their 10-year-old son, who became the youngest British boy. 2 weeks before we went last time, or a month before we went last time, an 8-year-old British girl broke the record, and now she's the world's youngest at 8 years old. So if you guys have any kids under 8 that you want to do a record, you can invite them along, or else we'll have to just wait till Kanea is 5. So 4 more years.
Oh.
So okay, so people of all shapes, sizes, ages can do this, and you know, I want you to visualize that it can be done and that you could be standing there. Just as Jim Carrey would say, I would visualize things coming to me. It would just make me feel better. Visualization works if you work hard. And so we still have to do our prep between now and the mountain, not just the visualization. That's the thing. You can't just visualize and then go eat a sandwich. All right, guys? So on that note, we're going to wrap up, and we will see you all on next month's call. And between that, hopefully we will see you on some treks. Bye for now.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks, Ronnie. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.